As the soft twilight of history drifts gently over the lands of Southeast Asia, we begin our journey to explore one of the most remarkable civilizations to grace this part of the world, the Khmer Empire. Nestled in the lush landscapes of what is now Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, and southern Vietnam, the Khmer Empire flourished between the 9th and 15th centuries, leaving behind monumental architecture, sophisticated irrigation systems, and a rich tapestry of art and culture. Tonight, as you settle into your bed and close your eyes, allow your mind to wander slowly through time, drifting across the great rivers, dense forests, and serene temple complexes of an empire that once pulsed with life and innovation. Our story begins not with the grandeur of kings and temples, but with the gentle, steady flow of the Mekong River. The river and its tributaries are lifelines, nourishing fertile plains where rice paddies stretch in quiet, reflective patterns, shimmering under the early morning sun. For centuries, the people who would eventually form the Khmer Empire lived in harmony with this watery landscape, learning to channel and control the waters for their sustenance. The art of irrigation, an essential skill that would later underpin the empire's wealth and stability, begins here in these humble, verdant fields. Imagine, as we drift through the centuries, villagers guiding oxen across wet paddies, carefully constructing canals that would carry life-giving water far and wide. The Khmer Empire, though often celebrated for its monumental stone temples, is equally remarkable for its society's sophistication. The people were skilled farmers, artisans, and engineers. Their daily lives were interwoven with the rhythms of nature, the rising and setting of the sun, the monsoon rains, and the phases of the moon. You may picture a quiet morning in a Khmer village, smoke curling from clay hearths, children running barefoot along muddy paths, and women weaving intricate textiles by hand. These subtle, serene moments remind us that an empire's strength begins with its people, living each day in harmony with their surroundings. As our minds glide gently forward in time, we encounter the first Khmer kings, rulers who harnessed the power of both nature and devotion. Religion and politics were closely entwined. The Khmer kings were considered Devaraja or god kings, embodying both earthly authority and divine presence. Temples were not merely places of worship but centers of administration, culture, and knowledge. Imagine the first rays of dawn spilling over the sandstone walls of a nascent temple complex, priests chanting softly, their voices merging with the gentle rustle of tropical foliage. These spiritual and civic centers became the heartbeat of Khmer society, drawing villagers, craftsmen, and traders into their orbit. The empire's capital, Angkor, would eventually rise from these beginnings to become a sprawling city of canals, causeways, and magnificent stone structures. Here in this carefully planned city, grand reservoirs or barays reflect the skies and mirror the surrounding temples. The largest of these, the West Baray, stretches nearly 8 kilometers, a testament to the engineering genius of the Khmer people. As we drift past these reflective waters in our minds, imagine the calm symmetry of Angkor, a city designed to harmonize with both the heavens and the earth. Art, too, flows gently through the history of the Khmer Empire. Intricate bas-reliefs cover temple walls, depicting stories from Hindu epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata, as well as scenes of daily life and ceremonial rituals. Each carving is a frozen moment in time, capturing the subtle grace of dancers, the powerful stride of warriors, and the delicate movements of animals and nature. Let your mind rest on these images, letting the rhythmic patterns of stone and shadow lull you toward a gentle, reflective state. Tonight, as your breathing slows and your thoughts soften, we will journey together through centuries of growth, conquest, and creativity. We will wander the temples at sunrise, feel the warmth of the sun on ancient stones, and listen to the quiet whispers of a civilization that shaped an entire region. In the following chapters, we will trace the rise of kings, the building of monumental structures, the ebb and flow of power, and the enduring legacy of a people whose spirit still lingers in the forests and rivers of Cambodia. Let your mind relax fully, and as you drift through this history, imagine the gentle sound of flowing water, the distant calls of tropical birds, and the slow passage of time. The Khmer Empire unfolds before you like a serene tapestry, each thread a story, each story a quiet melody of human achievement. Allow yourself to sink deeper into this calm, guided by the rhythm of the past, as we begin our slow, soothing exploration of the Khmer Empire. As we drift further back in time, long before the towering spires of Angkor Wat touched the sky, the lands that would become the Khmer Empire are quiet, lush, and teeming with life. Dense forests stretch for miles, the Mekong and Tunnel Sap rivers winding slowly through fertile plains. These waterways are more than scenic features. They are the lifeblood of early communities. Imagine as we float gently through history, villages clustered along the riverbanks, wooden stilt houses swaying above the waters, and fishermen casting their nets at dawn while the mist rises softly from the river. Life is humble, measured, and closely tied to the rhythms of nature. The Khmer people emerge from a mixture of indigenous Austroasiatic tribes and Indian-influenced migrants, gradually forming the social and cultural foundations of a future empire. These early communities are skilled in farming, particularly wet rice cultivation, which demands careful attention to seasonal floods and rainfall patterns. Picture the villagers laboring together, creating dikes and canals to control the flow of water, ensuring that the rice fields are nourished and productive. This expertise in managing water will become one of the defining achievements of the Khmer civilization, allowing their society to thrive in an environment both fertile and challenging. As we glide through the centuries, we see the first stirrings of organized political structures. Small chiefdoms evolve into early kingdoms, often ruled by leaders who combine spiritual authority with martial strength. These leaders begin to adopt titles influenced by Indian models of governance and divine kingship, integrating Hindu and Buddhist ideas into their rule. The concept of Devaraja, or God King, emerges in this formative period. The ruler is not merely a political figure but a living embodiment of divine order, charged with maintaining harmony between the earthly and the spiritual realms. Visualize the quiet majesty of these early rulers, seated on simple thrones in wooden palaces, surrounded by advisors and priests, as they guide their people through both ordinary days and sacred ceremonies. Trade and cultural exchange play a crucial role in the Khmer's early development. Indian merchants and scholars bring new technologies, religious concepts, and artistic styles. Sanskrit inscriptions appear on stone and metal, chronicling important events and royal decrees. Imagine a scholar delicately carving letters into a stone stele, each character carefully formed, each word intended to echo across centuries. These inscriptions, often poetic and ceremonial, are some of the earliest tangible traces of Khmer civilization, whispering to us across the ages about their beliefs, their priorities, and their deep connection to both the material and spiritual worlds. Religious life is central to early Khmer society. Hinduism, with its pantheon of gods and intricate cosmology, deeply influences art, architecture, and governance. Temples dedicated to Shiva, Vishnu, and other deities become focal points for communal life. But Buddhism, too, begins to make its presence felt, particularly Mahayana Buddhism, bringing meditation practices, moral teachings, and philosophical reflections that complement existing Hindu traditions. As we imagine this period, the soft fragrance of incense drifts from small shrines, monks chant quietly by candlelight, and villagers participate in rituals that mark the cycles of planting and harvest, birth and death. Religion is not a distant doctrine but a living rhythm that shapes the daily existence of every person. By the 6th and 7th centuries, several small kingdoms flourish along the Mekong and Tunnel Sap. The Funan Kingdom, one of the earliest known in the region, serves as a cultural and commercial bridge between India and Southeast Asia. Traders bring precious metals, textiles, and ceramics, while ideas and religious practices flow in tandem with goods. Imagine bustling river ports with wooden boats carrying clay jars, bronze ornaments, and silk garments. Markets hum with activity, the voices of merchants rising and falling like a gentle wave, as villagers trade, negotiate, and exchange stories. These interactions lay the groundwork for a broader regional identity, one that will later coalesce into the Khmer Empire. The shift from these smaller kingdoms to a unified Khmer state is gradual, guided by visionary leaders who consolidate power and harness the region's agricultural and spiritual resources. Water management projects grow more ambitious, linking reservoirs, canals, and rice fields into a cohesive network. This engineering prowess is not merely functional. It is symbolic, reflecting a ruler's ability to harmonize nature, society, and the divine. As we imagine these canals stretching across the landscape, their surfaces glinting in the early morning sun, we sense the quiet genius of a civilization learning to shape its environment while maintaining a delicate balance with it. Culturally, early Khmer society begins to blend indigenous traditions with Indian influences, creating a unique synthesis that will define the empire for centuries. Music, dance, and storytelling are integral, performed at both courts and villages. Dancers move in intricate patterns, narrating epic tales with graceful gestures, while musicians accompany them with drums and bamboo flutes. Close your eyes and hear the gentle rhythm of these instruments, the soft cadence of chants and songs, as if the sound itself flows with the rivers, carrying stories of heroism, devotion, and everyday life. These artistic expressions not only entertain but educate, passing on values, history, and communal memory. The natural landscape continues to shape life. Monsoon rains bring both abundance and challenge, swelling rivers, nourishing crops, and at times causing floods that demand resilience and adaptation. Forests provide timber for building, medicinal plants for healing, and wildlife that sustains both diet and myth. Imagine early Khmer hunters and gatherers walking softly through dense foliage, the air fragrant with flowers and damp earth, attentive to the subtle signals of the forest. These interactions with nature form a foundation of ecological awareness and practical knowledge, which will be crucial as the empire grows in complexity and ambition. By the close of this early period, the stage is set for the rise of a unified Khmer state, one capable of monumental architecture, intricate governance, and enduring cultural achievements. As we let our minds drift gently toward this emerging civilization, we can imagine the serene rivers, the golden fields, the quiet temples, and the devoted people who tend to them. The Khmer Empire is not yet fully formed, but the seeds of its greatness are visible in every canal, shrine, and inscription, awaiting the vision and leadership that will transform these lands into one of history's most remarkable empires. Let your mind rest on this vision, imagining the soft hum of village life, the gentle flow of water, and the distant calls of birds echoing across rice fields. As the early Khmer kingdoms grow and merge, their legacy begins to unfold in quiet, deliberate steps, a story of patience, ingenuity, and harmony with nature. Let the calm persistence of these early centuries soothe your thoughts, carrying you gently toward the next chapter of history, where kings rise, temples are born, and the Khmer Empire begins to flourish in all its splendor. As we glide gently forward through the centuries, we arrive at a time when the scattered chiefdoms and small kingdoms of the Mekong and Tunnel Sap regions begin to unify, forming what will become the magnificent Khmer Empire. This period, beginning around the 9th century CE, is a time of consolidation, ambition, and cultural synthesis. The rivers and forests that nurtured the early communities continue to play a central role, their calm waters guiding the steady expansion of agriculture, commerce, and political authority. Imagine, as we drift through this historical landscape, early Khmer leaders observing the fertile plains, envisioning a network of canals and rice fields that will sustain a growing population, and planning a society that blends both the earthly and the divine. At the heart of this transformation is the emergence of powerful rulers who consolidate authority under the principle of Devaraja, the God King. This concept, inspired by Indian political and religious traditions, imbues the monarch with divine legitimacy. The king is seen as a representative of Shiva, the Hindu god of creation and destruction, tasked with maintaining cosmic order on earth. Visualize a young king ascending the throne in a simple wooden palace, adorned with ceremonial garb and surrounded by advisors and priests. The air is filled with incense smoke, the soft chants of ritual, and the murmur of courtiers who have gathered to witness the sacred moment. In this blend of spirituality and governance, the foundations of Khmer imperial power take root. During this period, the Khmer Empire develops an increasingly sophisticated administrative system. Villages, towns, and districts are organized under officials appointed by the king, who oversee the collection of taxes, maintenance of canals, and organization of labor for public works. Labor is often organized through a corvée system, where citizens contribute their time and skills to communal projects, such as constructing reservoirs, temples, and roads. Picture the calm coordination of thousands of workers moving along the banks of a newly dug canal, each person performing a deliberate, measured task. Their efforts are not chaotic but carefully planned, reflecting a society attuned to both order and rhythm. The art of water management reaches remarkable heights during this era. The Khmer construct massive reservoirs or barrages, designed to capture and store monsoon rains for use during the dry season. Canals channel water from these reservoirs to rice paddies across the plains, ensuring consistent harvests and population stability. Imagine a vast, mirror-like reservoir stretching toward the horizon, its surface reflecting the sky and surrounding trees, creating a tranquil scene that is both practical and symbolic. The reservoirs are a testament to the engineering genius of the Khmer people and a quiet, enduring symbol of the harmony between human society and nature. Religious and architectural achievements flourish alongside these technological advances. Early temples, initially built from wood and later from stone, serve as both spiritual centers and symbols of royal power. These temples are carefully aligned with cosmological principles, reflecting the Khmer understanding of the universe as a sacred order. Mount Meru, the mythical home of the gods in Hindu cosmology, inspires the stepped pyramid-like designs of these temples, emphasizing the king's role as a cosmic intermediary. As we drift past these early stone structures, imagine priests moving quietly along carved stairways, the flickering light of torches illuminating intricate bas-reliefs depicting deities, mythical creatures, and scenes of daily life. One of the most influential kings during this period is Jayavarman II, often regarded as the founder of the Khmer Empire in its classical form. Around 802 CE, he declares independence from neighboring states and is consecrated as Devaraja, initiating a dynasty that will rule for centuries. Picture Jayavarman II standing on a ceremonial platform, the gentle Mekong breeze rustling the leaves around him, as he invokes divine authority to legitimize his rule. This moment marks the beginning of a centralized Khmer state, with a king whose power and sacred status radiate across the lands. Under Jayavarman II and his successors, the Khmer Empire expands its territories through both diplomacy and military prowess. Alliances are formed with neighboring polities, while fortifications and armies maintain security and assert authority. The countryside is increasingly integrated into a cohesive state, with roads and causeways linking distant settlements. Imagine the calm, purposeful movement of caravans and soldiers along these routes, the rhythmic cadence of hooves on earth, and the quiet coordination of trade and communication that strengthens the empire from within. Culturally, this period sees the fusion of local and imported artistic traditions. Indian influences on sculpture, temple design, and religious practices blend seamlessly with indigenous motifs and techniques. Bas-reliefs on temple walls illustrate both epic narratives from Hindu texts and scenes from Khmer daily life. Farmers tilling rice paddies, fishermen casting nets, and villagers engaged in ritual dances. Imagine walking along the cool sandstone corridors of a temple, tracing your fingers over the smooth carvings, and feeling a connection to both the divine and the ordinary moments of life long past. These artistic creations serve as both education and meditation, transmitting values, history, and spiritual insights through their visual language. Trade continues to be a vital lifeline for the Khmer Empire. Goods flow along rivers and overland routes, linking the empire to China, India, and other parts of Southeast Asia. Merchants bring silk, spices, precious metals, and ceramics, while Khmer exports include rice, forest products, and crafted items. Visualize a tranquil river market at dawn. Boats moored along the banks, the gentle lapping of water against hulls, and traders arranging their goods with meticulous care. The calm exchange of commerce is not merely transactional, it is a channel for ideas, art, and culture, weaving the empire into a broader regional network. Religion deepens its hold on society during this time. Hinduism remains central, but Mahayana Buddhism begins to gain influence, emphasizing meditation, ethical conduct, and philosophical reflection. Monks live in monasteries near villages and temples, offering guidance and education to the local population. Imagine the soft sound of chanting drifting through the forest, the warmth of the sun filtering through the leaves onto stone steps, and villagers approaching quietly to listen, reflect, and learn. Religion is a guiding presence, shaping morality, governance, and personal conduct in ways that are subtle yet profoundly enduring. By the mid-9th century, the Khmer Empire has established the foundations for its classical age. Centralized authority, sophisticated water management, monumental temple architecture, and a rich cultural life set the stage for the achievements that will define Angkor. As we let our minds drift over these landscapes, picture serene river valleys, rice paddies shimmering in the sun, and the quiet determination of villagers and kings alike, working in harmony to build a society that will endure for centuries. The rise of the Khmer Empire is not sudden or dramatic. It is a measured, deliberate unfolding, like the slow growth of a forest, each tree adding to the strength and beauty of the whole. As the chapter closes, allow yourself to rest in the calm of this era, imagining the tranquil rivers, the golden rice fields, and the quiet temples rising from the earth. The empire is young, yet it pulses with energy, creativity, and a deep connection to both nature and the divine. Let these images soothe your mind as we prepare to explore the next chapter, where the Khmer Empire reaches the height of its architectural and cultural grandeur, and the temples of Angkor begin to rise majestically from the landscape. As we drift gently through time, we enter the classical age of the Khmer Empire, a period of extraordinary architectural achievement, cultural flourishing, and political strength. This era, spanning roughly the 9th to 13th centuries, is marked by the rise of Angkor as the empire's magnificent capital. Imagine, as we float across these centuries, vast forests slowly giving way to a complex network of temples, reservoirs, causeways, and royal palaces. The empire is vibrant, organized, and guided by rulers whose vision and devotion leave a lasting imprint on both stone and society. At the heart of this classical age is Jayavarman VII, one of the most celebrated kings of the Khmer Empire, whose reign in the late 12th and early 13th centuries ushers in a period of remarkable expansion and monumental construction. Visualize the king surveying the landscape from a high pavilion, rivers glinting in the morning sun, forests stretching beyond the horizon, and the distant outlines of mountains framing the scene. Jayavarman VII's vision is not merely for conquest or wealth but for the creation of a capital city that embodies the cosmos itself. A city where the divine and human realms converge in stone, water, and art. Angkor, the imperial capital, is a marvel of planning and engineering. Canals and reservoirs, some stretching several kilometers, distribute water across the city and surrounding rice fields, ensuring agricultural stability and providing scenic reflections of the temples themselves. Picture a vast, mirror-like beret stretching toward the horizon, its calm surface reflecting temple towers and passing clouds, as villagers and workers move rhythmically along its edges. These reservoirs are more than practical. They symbolize the king's role as a cosmic organizer, harmonizing human activity with the forces of nature. Temples of this period reach unprecedented scale and intricacy. Angkor Wat, constructed under King Suryavarman II in the early 12th century, stands as the empire's crowning jewel. Designed as a microcosm of the Hindu universe, it features 5 towers representing Mount Meru, the mythical home of the gods, surrounded by concentric galleries and a wide moat. Imagine walking slowly through its corridors, your footsteps softened by polished stone, your eyes tracing elaborate bas-reliefs depicting epic tales from the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Each carving is precise, each figure imbued with subtle emotion, capturing both divine narratives and the beauty of everyday life in the Khmer world. Alongside Angkor Wat, the Bayon Temple epitomizes the later phase of Khmer architecture under Jayavarman VII. Its towers are adorned with serene faces gazing in 4 directions, a calm and watchful presence that seems to bless the city below. Picture the soft morning light illuminating these carved faces, the play of shadows across their serene features, and the gentle murmur of devotees moving quietly along stone stairways. The Bayon is both a spiritual center and a political statement, merging artistic grandeur with religious devotion, embodying the harmony of ruler, people, and cosmos. Daily life in Angkor and surrounding towns is rich and interconnected. Villagers continue to tend rice paddies, now connected to the capital through intricate irrigation channels. Artisans craft bronze statues, stone carvings, and delicate jewelry, their workshops filled with quiet focus and steady hands. Markets hum gently with activity, though not in the dramatic way of a modern city. Rather, in a calm, rhythmic cadence as traders exchange rice, forest products, spices, and textiles. Imagine walking along a canal-side street, the air fragrant with cooking fires, the soft laughter of children, and the gentle clatter of clay pots being arranged for sale. Life is orderly, purposeful, and intimately tied to the landscape and seasonal cycles. Religion continues to shape both the cityscape and daily practice. Hinduism remains prominent, with temples dedicated to Vishnu, Shiva, and other deities, but Theravada Buddhism begins to gain influence during the later part of this classical period. Monks provide spiritual guidance, teaching meditation and ethical living, while priests maintain elaborate rituals in the grand temples. Imagine the soft chanting echoing across stone courtyards, the scent of incense mingling with tropical flowers, and the quiet devotion of villagers attending ceremonies. Religion permeates every aspect of life, offering both personal solace and collective cohesion. The Khmer Empire's classical age is also a period of territorial expansion and diplomatic engagement. Military campaigns extend the empire's influence across present-day Thailand, Laos, and southern Vietnam. Diplomatic missions and trade links with China, India, and other Southeast Asian polities bring new ideas, artistic styles, and technological innovations. Picture a serene harbor where merchant ships arrive with silk, ceramics, and spices, their sails moving gently in the breeze, the calm lapping of water creating a rhythmic accompaniment to the exchange of goods and culture. These connections enrich the Khmer Empire and weave it into a broader regional tapestry. Art and culture flourish with meticulous attention to detail and symbolic meaning. Bas-reliefs in Angkor's temples depict not only mythological scenes but also the rhythms of everyday life. Farmers plowing fields, fishermen casting nets, musicians performing in village squares, and dancers moving gracefully during ceremonies. The precision of these carvings reflects a society deeply attuned to both aesthetics and storytelling. Imagine your mind wandering along these stone corridors, pausing to trace each figure with your gaze, letting the quiet narrative of the past wash over you like a gentle river, calming and reflective. Monumental construction is complemented by sophisticated urban planning. Causeways connect temples and city districts, elevated roads traverse flooded plains, and residential areas are carefully arranged to balance proximity to water, cultivation, and ceremonial spaces. Picture the calm symmetry of these layouts, the serene reflection of temple towers and quiet canals, and the rhythm of human activity moving in harmony with nature and sacred space. The entire city functions as a living organism, a harmonious interplay between infrastructure, spirituality, and human presence. Despite the grandeur and organization, the classical age also witnesses subtle challenges. Seasonal floods, political rivalries, and the need for constant maintenance of irrigation systems require vigilance and cooperation. Yet the Khmer people navigate these challenges with ingenuity and resilience. Imagine workers repairing canals after the monsoon, priests advising the king on auspicious dates, and farmers coordinating planting schedules, all functioning in quiet, deliberate harmony. This careful management of both natural and human resources underscores the empire's stability and enduring legacy. As the classical age reaches its zenith, the Khmer Empire stands as a model of human ingenuity, devotion, and harmony with the natural world. Its temples, cities, and landscapes embody a vision of order, beauty, and cosmic balance. As we allow our minds to drift slowly across these centuries, picture the calm rivers reflecting temple spires, the golden glow of sunrise on sandstone carvings, and the soft murmur of life unfolding in villages, markets, and palaces. Every stone, every canal, every carved figure tells a quiet story of creativity, faith, and human perseverance. As this chapter concludes, let your imagination linger on the serene beauty of Angkor at its height. The gentle hum of daily life, the reflective waters of the Bares, the quiet devotion of priests, and the rhythmic labor of villagers create a soothing tapestry that carries us forward through time. Rest in this vision of harmony, architectural brilliance, and cultural richness, allowing the calm persistence of the Khmer Empire's classical age to lull your thoughts as we prepare to explore the subsequent period, where the empire experiences both continuity and transformation in the centuries to come. As we continue drifting through time, we reach the zenith of the Khmer Empire, a period of extraordinary prosperity, architectural brilliance, and cultural sophistication. The 12th and 13th centuries mark a golden age where the empire's political, spiritual, and artistic achievements intertwine seamlessly. Picture the sun rising over a vast, fertile landscape, where rivers mirror temple towers and rice paddies ripple gently in the morning breeze. It is a world alive with human ingenuity, devotion, and quiet coordination, a civilization thriving in harmony with its environment. At the heart of this era is the continued vision of Jayavarman VII, whose reign represents both a spiritual and administrative apex. His ambitious building programs transform Angkor into a city of unparalleled beauty and complexity. Wide stone causeways link grand temples to the royal palace, while extensive networks of canals and reservoirs distribute water to fields and households. Imagine walking slowly along a causeway lined with carefully carved balustrades, the soft clatter of sandals on stone echoing like a gentle rhythm, as monks chant in distant courtyards and the river reflects the early morning light. The city itself is meticulously planned, balancing functional needs with spiritual symbolism. Residential quarters, administrative districts, markets, and temples are interconnected through carefully elevated roads and bridges, designed to withstand seasonal flooding. Canals not only irrigate the rice fields but provide a reflective surface for the majestic temples, creating a visual harmony that is both practical and meditative. Picture yourself gliding over these waters in a small boat, watching the mirrored images of towers and trees, feeling the quiet serenity of a landscape deliberately designed to balance human needs with cosmic order. Temples constructed during this peak period are remarkable in both scale and detail. The Bayon Temple, located at the center of Angkor Wat, stands as a masterpiece of Khmer architecture. Its 54 towers are adorned with serene faces looking in all directions, a calm presence watching over the city and its people. Imagine the gentle morning sunlight illuminating these stone faces, the soft wind carrying the distant murmur of villagers, and the quiet reverence of priests performing rituals on the terraces. Each face, carved with delicate precision, symbolizes compassion and divine oversight, reflecting the king's role as a spiritual guardian as well as a ruler. Angkor Wat, although begun earlier under Suryavarman II, reaches its cultural and religious significance during this period. It is not merely a temple but a symbolic representation of the Hindu cosmos, with concentric galleries, steep stairways, and a central sanctuary representing Mount Meru. As your mind drifts through the corridors of Angkor Wat, imagine the intricate bas-reliefs depicting epic narratives, scenes of daily life and ceremonial processions. Farmers tilling rice paddies, traders arranging goods, musicians playing flutes, and dancers performing graceful rituals, all frozen in stone, creating a quiet narrative that speaks across centuries. The Khmer Empire's prosperity is rooted in its agricultural system. Sophisticated water management ensures consistent harvests, while surplus production supports urban centers, artisans, and the royal court. Picture workers tending the rice fields, adjusting canals and dikes, the water reflecting the golden sunlight, and the rhythmic sounds of tools and footsteps blending with the calls of birds and insects. The ability to control water is not only a technical achievement but a symbolic expression of the king's role in maintaining cosmic balance and social order. Trade continues to thrive, both within the empire and across Southeast Asia. Merchants arrive by river and overland routes, bringing silk, spices, ceramics, and precious metals, while the Khmer export rice, timber, and crafted goods. Imagine a quiet river port at dawn. Boats anchored along muddy banks, traders arranging their wares, and villagers exchanging goods in a measured, rhythmic flow. This commerce not only sustains material prosperity but fosters cultural exchange, introducing new ideas, artistic styles, and technologies that enrich the Khmer civilization. Art and culture flourish in tandem with architectural achievements. Bas-reliefs on temple walls capture not only religious stories but the rhythms of daily life, blending mythology and reality. Musicians, dancers, and artisans contribute to a vibrant cultural tapestry, performing in courts and villages alike. Imagine a gentle procession along a temple terrace. Dancers in elaborate costumes move gracefully, musicians play soft rhythms on flutes and drums, and villagers watch quietly, absorbing the beauty and meaning of each gesture. Art is not only decorative but instructive, teaching ethics, history, and spiritual ideals in a calm, immersive manner. Religion remains central to society, blending Hindu and Buddhist traditions. Hindu deities are worshipped in grand temples, while Buddhist monks provide ethical guidance, meditation instruction, and education to the population. Imagine the scent of incense drifting through courtyards, the soft murmur of chanting, and villagers approaching with quiet reverence to participate in ceremonies marking the cycles of life, seasonal festivals, and royal observances. Religion in this period permeates both public and private life, offering stability, moral guidance, and a connection to the divine. The empire's military and political reach extends across present-day Cambodia, southern Laos, Thailand, and parts of Vietnam. While the king maintains central authority, local governors administer distant provinces, overseeing agricultural production, local infrastructure, and minor disputes. Picture the calm organization of this system. Couriers moving along elevated roads, officials recording census data, and local leaders coordinating projects with village elders. This network ensures cohesion across vast distances, allowing the empire to maintain stability and respond to challenges without unnecessary disruption to daily life. Education and scholarship also flourish. Monks and priests preserve knowledge of Sanskrit, Pali, and Khmer languages, recording inscriptions, religious texts, and historical chronicles. Schools attached to temples teach reading, writing, philosophy, and ritual practice. Imagine a quiet classroom in a monastery. Students sitting cross-legged on polished stone floors, tracing characters on palm leaves, the soft sound of chanting and scratching of pens creating a gentle rhythm that mirrors the calm flow of the surrounding rivers. Knowledge is transmitted carefully, patiently, and respectfully, forming the intellectual backbone of the empire. Despite the grandeur of the capital and the sophistication of governance, the Khmer Empire remains deeply connected to the land. Villages continue to thrive along rivers and canals, cultivating rice, tending livestock, and participating in temple festivals. Imagine a peaceful evening in a rural village, smoke curling from clay hearths, the soft murmur of conversation, children playing along canal edges, and farmers preparing for the next day's work. This harmony between rural life and imperial ambition sustains both social cohesion and material prosperity, creating a stable foundation for the empire's peak achievements. By the end of this period, the Khmer Empire stands as one of the most remarkable civilizations of Southeast Asia. Its temples, reservoirs, cities, and cultural expressions embody a vision of harmony, cosmic balance, and enduring human creativity. As we drift in our imagination across this landscape, picture the golden sunlight reflecting off stone towers, the calm surface of reservoirs mirroring the sky, and the quiet, rhythmic labor of villagers, artisans, and priests alike. Every element of this world contributes to a serene, ordered tapestry of life, creativity, and devotion. As this chapter closes, allow yourself to rest in the calm grandeur of the Khmer Empire at its peak. The harmony of architecture and nature, the quiet diligence of daily life, and the reflective serenity of temples and rivers carry your thoughts gently through history. Let the serene rhythm of this golden age soothe your mind, preparing you to drift into the next chapter, where change, adaptation, and the enduring legacy of the Khmer people unfold across the centuries. As we continue drifting gently through time, we arrive at a period when the Khmer Empire begins to experience subtle but significant transformations. Following the height of its classical age, the empire faces both internal and external challenges, while continuing to display ingenuity, resilience, and cultural richness. Imagine a landscape still vibrant with rice paddies, reflective reservoirs, and towering temples, but now with a quiet sense of change in the air, a gentle shift in rhythms, governance, and the relationship between the people and the natural world. The late 13th and early 14th centuries mark a period of political adaptation. Central authority remains strong, but local leaders increasingly exercise autonomy, managing day-to-day affairs in provinces far from Angkor. These governors oversee taxation, irrigation maintenance, and local security, creating a decentralized but interconnected system. Picture couriers moving along elevated causeways, carrying royal decrees to distant districts, while villagers continue their quiet, methodical work in rice fields and markets. Even as political structures shift, life maintains a serene rhythm, underpinned by centuries of careful planning and experience. Religious life continues to evolve alongside these administrative changes. Theravada Buddhism, emphasizing meditation, ethical conduct, and community cohesion, gradually becomes more prominent, complementing and, in some areas, supplanting the previously dominant Hindu practices. Imagine monks walking softly through temple courtyards, their robes rustling in the morning breeze, offering guidance to villagers and conducting ceremonies that mark planting seasons, harvests, and personal milestones. The temples themselves begin to reflect these shifts, with simpler, more meditative designs alongside the grand pyramidal structures of earlier Hindu architecture. Religion continues to shape daily life, providing moral guidance and a sense of continuity amid gradual change. Economically, the Khmer Empire remains remarkably resourceful. The sophisticated network of canals, reservoirs, and rice fields continues to sustain urban centers and rural villages alike. Farmers coordinate planting and harvesting according to monsoon patterns, using age-old techniques refined over centuries. Picture the soft shimmer of water in paddies at dawn, the gentle clatter of wooden tools, and the quiet conversations of villagers as they work together in the fields. This agricultural stability underpins both urban prosperity and cultural production, allowing artisans, scholars, and religious communities to flourish even during times of political transformation. Artistic expression persists as a subtle yet enduring force in Khmer society. Bas-reliefs on temple walls continue to depict both mythological narratives and everyday activities, reflecting the integration of religion, culture, and daily life. Imagine walking along the sandstone corridors of a temple, tracing your eyes over intricate carvings, farmers plowing, fishermen casting nets, dancers performing in quiet ceremonies, and deities watching over each scene. These carvings not only preserve historical memory but also provide a meditative rhythm, inviting observers to reflect calmly on the cycles of human and divine life. The empire's infrastructure, particularly its water management systems, remains a defining feature. Reservoirs and canals, carefully maintained by local communities, continue to provide reliable irrigation, mitigating the effects of seasonal floods and droughts. Picture a calm morning along a canal, villagers directing water into paddy fields, boats gliding gently across reservoirs, and the sunlight glinting off reflective surfaces. This continuity of engineering demonstrates the Khmer people's deep understanding of ecology and hydrology, as well as their ability to sustain a complex civilization through centuries of careful planning and labor. However, this period is not without challenges. External threats, including invasions by neighboring states and pressure from emerging regional powers, create tension and necessitate vigilance. The Khmer military, though smaller than in previous centuries, remains strategically deployed to protect vital territories and trade routes. Imagine soldiers quietly patrolling causeways, training along riverbanks, and maintaining fortifications with measured discipline. These efforts, while less grandiose than the earlier campaigns of expansion, are essential for maintaining the empire's stability and security in a changing world. Internal pressures also emerge. Succession disputes, local rivalries, and the gradual decentralization of authority occasionally strain the coherence of the empire. Yet these challenges are met with adaptability rather than panic. Kings and local leaders rely on long-standing traditions of administration, diplomacy, and religious authority to guide their decisions. Picture a council convening in a provincial temple, elders and officials discussing canal repairs, harvest schedules, and ceremonial preparations, all conducted with calm deliberation. The rhythm of governance continues to mirror the patient, methodical pace of village life. Cultural exchange continues to enrich the Khmer Empire. Trade with China, India, and other Southeast Asian polities brings new technologies, artistic styles, and commodities. Merchants arrive quietly along riverbanks, exchanging goods such as silk, ceramics, spices, and precious metals, while Khmer exports, including rice, forest products, and crafted items, move outward to distant markets. Imagine a tranquil river harbor at dawn, the gentle lapping of water against boats, the soft arrangement of goods by traders, and villagers observing or participating in commerce with calm attention. These exchanges support both material prosperity and the flow of ideas that sustain cultural vitality. Despite these pressures, the Khmer Empire's commitment to monumental architecture and public works continues, though often on a smaller scale than in the classical period. New temples are constructed, emphasizing both spiritual practice and local community cohesion. These structures are carefully integrated into the landscape, surrounded by ponds, gardens, and pathways that encourage reflection and meditation. Imagine a quiet temple courtyard, shaded by flowering trees, with soft sunlight filtering through the leaves onto stone bas-reliefs. Monks chant gently in the background, while villagers tend gardens and perform routine maintenance, creating a calm, enduring rhythm of life and devotion. Education and scholarship remain integral to Khmer society. Monks, priests, and scholars preserve knowledge of language, ritual, history, and philosophy, often teaching younger generations in temple schools. Imagine a serene classroom where students trace characters on palm leaves, practicing Sanskrit, Pali, or Khmer, the soft scratching of styluses blending with distant temple bells and birdsong. Knowledge is transmitted carefully, patiently, and respectfully, ensuring that cultural memory and religious practice persist through periods of transition and uncertainty. The landscape itself continues to shape the rhythm of life. Forests provide timber for construction, medicinal plants, and wildlife that sustains both diet and myth. Seasonal floods, while challenging, replenish soil and maintain agricultural productivity. Imagine villagers navigating these rhythms, guiding oxen through muddy fields, adjusting irrigation channels, and gathering resources from the forest, all in quiet coordination with natural cycles. This intimate connection with the environment underpins the empire's resilience and adaptability during this period of subtle transformation. By the mid-14th century, the Khmer Empire demonstrates remarkable endurance. Although central authority begins to waver in distant provinces, the fundamental structures of society, irrigation networks, temple complexes, agricultural systems, and cultural traditions, remain resilient. Imagine the calm reflection of a temple tower in a still beret at sunset, the soft hum of daily activity continuing in villages and urban centers, and the serene presence of monks guiding their communities. This endurance is not dramatic or ostentatious. It is quiet, methodical, and deeply rooted in centuries of accumulated knowledge and experience. As this chapter draws to a close, let your mind linger on the serene persistence of the Khmer Empire during its period of transformation. The reflective waters, golden rice fields, quiet temples, and rhythmic labor of villagers create a soothing landscape of continuity amid change. The empire's ability to adapt, maintain harmony with nature, and sustain cultural and spiritual life offers a gentle meditation on resilience and balance. Let this calm vision carry your thoughts slowly forward, preparing to drift into the next chapter, where the later centuries of the Khmer Empire unfold, leading toward its enduring legacy and the quiet echoes of its magnificent past. As we drift gently into the final centuries of the Khmer Empire, the landscape begins to shift once more. The grand cities, reflective reservoirs, and towering temples of Angkor remain, yet subtle changes ripple through society, governance, and daily life. The 14th and 15th centuries mark a period of gradual decline, not sudden collapse, as the empire faces environmental, political, and social challenges. Picture a calm morning over the rice fields. The water still mirrors the sky, the temples still rise majestically, and villagers move quietly through their routines, even as the empire navigates transitions that will shape its future legacy. Environmental pressures play a significant role in the empire's decline. The sophisticated system of canals and reservoirs that once supported abundant harvests requires constant maintenance. Seasonal monsoon fluctuations, prolonged droughts, and occasional flooding strain this intricate infrastructure. Imagine villagers laboring together along the banks of a Baray, adjusting sluices, repairing dikes, and tending paddies, the gentle murmur of conversation blending with the soft lapping of water. The rhythms of daily life continue, yet there is a growing awareness of nature's unpredictability, reminding all that human ingenuity and natural forces are delicately balanced. Political challenges also emerge during this period. Central authority in Angkor gradually weakens, while regional governors gain increasing autonomy. Succession disputes and intermittent conflicts occasionally disrupt the unity of the empire. Imagine couriers carrying decrees along elevated causeways, sometimes delayed by minor skirmishes, while local officials deliberate over taxation, irrigation repairs, and ceremonial preparations. Yet even in these moments of tension, the Khmer system demonstrates remarkable resilience. Administrative practices, communal labor, and religious structures continue to provide cohesion and stability. Religious life maintains its enduring presence, shaping both spiritual and social continuity. Theravada Buddhism, now firmly established throughout the empire, emphasizes meditation, moral conduct, and community service. Monks guide villagers in daily life, performing rituals, offering education, and preserving manuscripts. Picture the serene glow of morning light filtering into a monastery courtyard, the soft rustle of robes as monks move quietly, and villagers approaching to listen, learn, or participate in ceremonies marking planting seasons, harvests, and life's milestones. Religion continues to provide structure, moral guidance, and a sense of calm continuity amid gradual societal change. Cultural and artistic achievements persist, even as the empire faces challenges. Temples continue to be maintained, bas-reliefs are preserved, and artisans carry forward centuries-old traditions of sculpture, architecture, and textile weaving. Imagine tracing your eyes along the carvings of a temple corridor. Dancers frozen in mid-step, farmers and fishermen captured in reflective stone, mythical beings looking serenely into eternity. Each image conveys not only history but also the enduring beauty of Khmer artistry, offering a quiet meditation for those who observe, whether centuries ago or today. Trade and regional connections also adapt. While some external influences diminish, commerce continues along river networks, linking local villages with neighboring polities in Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam. Goods such as rice, forest products, ceramics, and textiles continue to flow quietly along waterways, sustaining both local economies and cultural exchange. Picture a river market in the soft dawn. Boats moored along the banks, merchants arranging goods, and villagers moving with measured calm, exchanging items, ideas, and stories. Even in times of political and environmental strain, the gentle rhythm of trade carries on, supporting daily life and cultural resilience. Despite these pressures, the empire leaves behind an enduring architectural and technological legacy. The water management systems, massive reservoirs, and canal networks remain functional in many areas, providing sustenance and inspiration for generations to come. Angkor's temples, from Angkor Wat to the Bayon, continue to evoke awe with their intricate carvings, harmonious proportions, and cosmic symbolism. Imagine the reflective surface of a reservoir mirroring a temple spire at sunrise, the soft colors of morning sky mirrored in calm waters, and the quiet devotion of visitors walking along stone causeways. These monuments remind us that human creativity, faith, and perseverance leave lasting imprints even as societies evolve. The Khmer Empire's decline is gradual rather than abrupt. While political power shifts and environmental stresses challenge the empire's stability, the fundamental achievements of its civilization, engineering, art, governance, and spiritual life, persist. Villages continue to thrive, irrigation systems function with local maintenance, and temples remain centers of community life. Picture a quiet village near a temple complex. Children playing along irrigation channels, farmers tending paddies, artisans working with steady hands, and monks moving serenely among the buildings. Life continues with calm purpose, even as the grandeur of the imperial court begins to fade. The legacy of the Khmer Empire reaches far beyond its temporal boundaries. Its architectural and engineering feats inspire subsequent generations across Southeast Asia. Angkor Wat becomes a symbol of national identity, cultural pride, and spiritual continuity for Cambodia, centuries after the empire's political power diminishes. Imagine travelers from distant lands observing the temples for the first time. The harmonious alignment of towers, the serene faces carved into stone, the mirrored waters of vast reservoirs, and the gentle rhythms of surrounding villages. The impression is one of enduring order, spiritual depth, and artistic excellence, a testament to the Khmer people's vision and skill. As we drift toward the conclusion of this historical journey, it is important to recognize the quiet endurance of the Khmer Empire's influence. Although the political center eventually relocates and new powers emerge, the lessons of ingenuity, adaptability, and cultural synthesis persist. Water management techniques, agricultural practices, architectural principles, and artistic traditions continue to inform local communities and inspire global appreciation. Picture the tranquil waters of a beret reflecting the sky, villagers walking along ancient causeways, and the soft hum of life that has persisted for centuries. These images remind us that the empire's true strength lies not only in its political power but in its ability to harmonize human endeavor with the natural and spiritual worlds. As this chapter concludes, allow your mind to linger on the serene landscapes, reflective waters, quiet temples, and rhythmic daily life that define the later centuries of the Khmer Empire. The empire's decline is not a story of sudden loss, but of transformation, adaptation, and the enduring resonance of human creativity and devotion. Let this gentle narrative carry you toward reflection, allowing the rich legacy of the Khmer people to soothe your thoughts and guide you into a calm, restful state. The Khmer Empire, in all its grandeur and quiet perseverance, remains a testament to humanity's ability to create beauty, order, and meaning in harmony with both nature and the divine. As we drift gently forward into the centuries following the decline of Angkor's political prominence, the Khmer Empire leaves behind an enduring legacy that continues to shape the cultural, spiritual, and architectural landscape of Southeast Asia. Though the grandeur of its centralized rule has faded, the echoes of its civilization persist in quiet, contemplative ways, through temples, waterways, rituals, and stories passed down from generation to generation. Imagine standing at the edge of a reflective reservoir, the morning sunlight casting soft golden light across temple spires, as the serene hum of daily life continues in nearby villages. This is the enduring rhythm of Khmer culture. Following the relocation of political power from Angkor, smaller centers of administration and religious practice rise in prominence. While no longer the heart of a vast empire, these towns and villages preserve centuries of knowledge and tradition. Local communities maintain irrigation canals, tending rice paddies that glimmer like liquid gold under the sun, and ensure that reservoirs or berets continue to serve both practical and symbolic purposes. Picture villagers carefully guiding water into paddies, observing the cycles of rain and sun, and coordinating their work in harmony with natural rhythms. A living reminder of the Khmer mastery of landscape engineering and environmental stewardship. Religion continues to be a cornerstone of Khmer life. Theravada Buddhism, firmly established during the later centuries of the empire, dominates spiritual practice, coexisting with residual Hindu influences at older temples. Monks move quietly through courtyards, their robes brushing the stone floors, offering teachings in ethics, meditation, and community service. Villagers approach with respect, listening to guidance and participating in rituals marking birth, harvest, and seasonal change. Imagine the gentle sound of chanting drifting through ancient temple walls, mingling with the soft rustle of leaves, creating a serene atmosphere where past and present converge. The Khmer devotion to spiritual practice ensures that even as political power wanes, the ethical and philosophical foundations of society remain strong. Architecture and artistry continue to inspire awe. Though the scale of construction diminishes compared to the classical age, local artisans preserve the skills, motifs, and sacred designs of their ancestors. Temples, while sometimes smaller, are carefully maintained, and intricate bas-reliefs continue to depict epic narratives, daily life and cosmic symbolism. Imagine walking slowly along a temple gallery, the sandstone smooth under your fingertips, carvings of dancers, farmers and deities capturing both human and divine rhythms, while soft sunlight filters through the open corridors. These creations serve as a bridge across time, conveying history, moral lessons and meditative calm to anyone who pauses to observe them. The Khmer legacy also endures through cultural rituals, music and dance. Classical dances, with their deliberate, graceful movements, echo stories from mythology and history, often performed at temple ceremonies or community festivals. Musical ensembles accompany these performances with soft rhythms, using instruments such as drums, gongs and flutes, their gentle melodies resonating across courtyards and villages. Imagine a quiet evening where dancers move slowly in ceremonial patterns, the music blending with the whisper of the wind through trees and the distant croak of frogs in the paddies. This calm choreography of life, art and spirituality is a living testament to Khmer creativity and cultural continuity. Language and scholarship preserve the intellectual achievements of the empire. Monks, scribes and educators carefully copy manuscripts in Pali, Sanskrit and Old Khmer, teaching literacy, philosophy and religious doctrine to new generations. Imagine a temple school at dawn, students tracing characters on palm leaves, copying ancient texts, while the soft scratching of styluses blends with birdsong and the gentle flow of a nearby canal. Knowledge is transmitted not in haste but with patience, ensuring that centuries of wisdom, ritual practice and artistic insight endure even as the political landscape evolves. Trade and regional interaction continue quietly, linking Khmer communities with neighboring polities in Thailand, Laos and Vietnam. Goods such as rice, forest products, silks and ceramics flow along rivers and overland routes, while ideas, artistic styles and technologies are exchanged with calm deliberation. Imagine a peaceful river scene at dawn, boats gliding across calm water, merchants arranging goods with care, and villagers participating in measured, thoughtful exchanges. These connections sustain both the economy and cultural vibrancy, reinforcing the quiet persistence of Khmer civilization even after the decline of central authority. The Khmer influence also extends beyond borders. Architectural, artistic and religious practices are emulated in neighboring regions, leaving a broader imprint across Southeast Asia. Temples inspired by Angkor's designs appear in Thailand and Laos, while Theravada Buddhist traditions shaped by the Khmer continue to thrive in rural and urban communities alike. Imagine distant monasteries reflecting the symmetry and proportions of Angkorian architecture, their serene courtyards echoing the calm rhythms of a centuries-old civilization. The Khmer Empire's reach endures not through conquest, but through the quiet, profound impact of culture, art and spirituality. Environmental harmony, long a hallmark of Khmer society, remains integral to the legacy. Villagers and communities continue to maintain rice paddies, canals, and reservoirs with a deep understanding of seasonal cycles, soil fertility, and water management. Picture a reflective beret at sunset, the sky mirrored perfectly in still water, while villagers guide water into distant fields, coordinate planting schedules, and move with deliberate care through the landscape. This connection between human activity and natural cycles reflects centuries of accumulated knowledge, demonstrating the Khmer people's enduring wisdom and adaptability. Even as centuries pass, Angkor itself remains a locus of inspiration and reflection. Travelers, scholars, and artists from around the world arrive to observe its majestic towers, intricate carvings, and monumental causeways. Imagine standing quietly at Angkor Wat as the first rays of sunlight touch the central towers, casting long, calm reflections across the moat. The intricate bas-reliefs tell stories of gods and mortals, of victory and devotion, and of daily life frozen in stone, inviting meditative reflection and a gentle sense of connection across centuries. The Khmer Empire's accomplishments thus continue to resonate, offering both historical insight and serene beauty to all who visit. The Khmer legacy is not confined to physical structures or artifacts. It thrives in the rhythms of community life. Villages maintain traditional practices of agriculture, artisanal craft, and spiritual observance, echoing patterns established during the empire's classical and peak periods. Imagine a quiet evening in a riverside village. The soft murmur of conversation, the occasional laughter of children, the rustle of robes as monks move between temples, and the steady hum of daily work. These routines, simple yet profound, preserve cultural identity and continuity, allowing the essence of the Khmer Empire to endure through centuries of change. As this chapter unfolds, it becomes clear that the Khmer Empire's greatest achievement may not be conquest or wealth, but the ability to create a civilization that harmonizes human endeavor, spiritual aspiration, and environmental stewardship. Its temples, reservoirs, canals, art, and social structures form a web of enduring influence, a quiet testament to human creativity and adaptability. Picture floating above a reflective beret at dusk, the sky tinged with gold and pink, temple spires mirrored perfectly in calm water, and villagers moving slowly along pathways, every element resonating with the quiet harmony that defines the Khmer cultural legacy. In reflecting on the Khmer Empire, one is struck by the subtlety of its endurance. Even as political power waned, the wisdom embedded in water management systems, the spiritual depth of temples, the elegance of artistic expression, and the rhythms of daily life persisted. This legacy reminds us that human societies can achieve lasting impact not only through monumental power but through the careful cultivation of culture, knowledge, and harmony with the natural world. Imagine the soft glow of lanterns along canal banks at night, monks chanting quietly, villagers returning from fields, and the temples silhouetted against a tranquil sky, each scene a meditation on the enduring grace of a civilization that shaped both land and spirit. As this final chapter concludes, allow your mind to rest in the calm echoes of the Khmer Empire. Reflect on the mirrored waters of reservoirs, the serene faces carved in stone, the rhythmic patterns of daily work and ritual, and the timeless beauty of temples rising amid the landscape. The Khmer Empire, in all its majesty, resilience, and subtle transformation, offers a gentle lesson in the endurance of culture, the harmony of human and natural worlds, and the quiet power of creativity. Let these images settle softly in your mind, guiding you into a state of calm, restful reflection as our journey through the centuries of the Khmer Empire comes gently to a close. As we drift softly into the final moments of our journey through the centuries of the Khmer Empire, it is comforting to pause and reflect on the remarkable endurance of its culture, architecture, and wisdom. Though centuries have passed since the empire's political dominance waned, its echoes continue to shape landscapes, spiritual practices, and artistic expression throughout Southeast Asia. Picture the quiet reflection of temple spires in the still waters of a beret, the sun casting gentle light on sandstone carvings, and the soft rustle of leaves in a calm breeze. These subtle harmonies are the enduring fingerprints of a civilization that achieved both grandeur and grace. The temples of Angkor remain among the most striking reminders of the Khmer vision. Angkor Wat, with its concentric galleries and towering central sanctuary, embodies both religious devotion and sophisticated urban planning. Its bas-reliefs, depicting epic stories and everyday scenes, invite contemplative reflection. Imagine tracing your eyes slowly along the intricate carvings, farmers guiding oxen through rice fields, dancers performing ceremonial movements, deities gazing serenely over mortals. Each figure, frozen in stone yet alive with narrative, provides a quiet meditation on the rhythm of life, faith, and artistry. Even as political centers shifted and regional powers rose, the Khmer commitment to environmental harmony and water management continued to influence surrounding regions. Reservoirs, canals, and rice paddies, originally constructed to sustain vast populations, remain integral to local communities. Picture villagers gently guiding water into fields, coordinating planting schedules with the rise and fall of monsoon waters, and maintaining earthen dikes with patient care. This ongoing stewardship reflects the empire's enduring wisdom, the ability to integrate human life seamlessly with the cycles of nature, fostering both sustenance and calm continuity. Art, dance, and music, cultivated over centuries, persist as living expressions of Khmer heritage. Classical dances, performed with deliberate, graceful gestures, continue to tell stories of gods, heroes, and historical events. Music accompanies these movements with gentle rhythms, the soft melodies echoing across temple courtyards and riverside villages. Imagine a quiet evening, the sun dipping low, dancers moving slowly to measured beats, the air filled with subtle fragrance from nearby blossoms. In this calm rhythm, one senses the quiet power of tradition, a culture preserved not through force, but through beauty, patience, and devotion. Theravada Buddhism, which became central in the later centuries of the empire, continues to provide spiritual guidance and ethical grounding. Monks and teachers maintain practices of meditation, mindfulness, and communal support, linking the present to centuries of philosophical reflection. Picture a monk walking slowly along a temple terrace, the soft sound of his footsteps blending with distant birdsong, the calm surface of the reflecting pool catching the sky's colors. Such scenes embody a continuity of thought and practice that transcends political change, offering a gentle reminder of human resilience and the importance of inner cultivation. As we allow our imagination to linger on these quiet echoes of the Khmer Empire, it becomes clear that its true legacy is not only in stone or manuscripts, but in the rhythms of life, culture, and belief it nurtured. Each reflective pool, each carved figure, each ritual and melody carries forward centuries of human ingenuity, devotion, and harmony with the natural world. Picture yourself sitting quietly beside a reservoir at sunset, the water perfectly still, the silhouettes of temples stretching toward the horizon, the soft murmur of life moving gently around you. In this serene tableau, history and present coexist, and the legacy of the Khmer Empire whispers quietly across time. As this final chapter concludes, let your mind settle into the calm, reflective presence of the Khmer Empire's enduring influence. Its architecture, art, spiritual practice, and environmental wisdom continue to inspire wonder and quiet contemplation. Drift gently in this serene vision, carrying forward a sense of harmony, balance, and timeless beauty, allowing the peaceful legacy of this remarkable civilization to lull your thoughts toward rest and reflection.